Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Good morning. Okay, so I had the night to sleep on last night and the debate, and so I had a couple things that came to me that I thought were interesting. One, last 4 debates, one of which I was invited to. 2 hours later, I was uninvited to it. It wasn't even a debate; it was just speaking on a platform. I wasn't invited because there's a group of people that are walking around trying to secure their candidates. And I went back and watched the debate last night, and yeah, I think that the thing I took away from it is it was my first debate, but just how bad the questions were, and why are we having people that have written bad things about, not really, I mean, Ernie's okay, but they consistently write bad things about Republicans. Those were the people asking the questions. And if you get past the bad questions, then you have to get to the why. Why were there gotcha questions when you had Channel 9 in the back of the room? And then I went and I watched Channel 9's take on the debate and the mockery of how they present the GOP. So their entire goal is to make good people look bad to not just the left or the middle, but to the right. It's a demoralization plan. And the questions that they asked are not what people were thinking about. They weren't what you would show up and if I said, what are the top 3 things that are concerning for you? Frankly, roads are terrible. I agree. Roads are terrible, because that's one of the questions was, what are you going to do about the roads? And it's superfluous. It's like this overarching lost from reality that affects every single person in Colorado. And it's debilitating to think about, because people around the room look around and they go, well, I guess this is important to all these other people. That we talk about the budget, we talk about roads, so that must be the most important thing on everyone's mind. It's not. The most important thing on everyone's mind popped up every now and then when we talked about it, but people want to feel like they're not being held hostage, they're not a slave to a system that they have no voice in. That's what they want. They want to take home more money. They want to limit the expenses and to have more control over what happens in Colorado, rather than having, pet projects and lobbyists and special interest groups that run the roost, that write all of these different bills that get pushed across the finish line by the radical left. And I'm not sure the GOP's gotten it. 50% or more of Colorado are independent. You know why they're independent? I don't care if you lean left or you lean right. You cannot support what they're doing inside of our state. You can't. I bet you it's 90% of the state that feels left out. The Republicans are unhappy. The Democrats are unhappy. The independents are like, I have no idea what's going on. And 2% of the population of Colorado is leaving. So I don't believe that the election systems are legitimate. No, I don't. Matter of fact, I know they're not. I'm a system architect. I have fought this for the last 5 years. I have looked at the evidence in probably 30 states. I've talked to experts. The left has never brought an expert to the table. They bring entertainment journalists in to say that it's been debunked. They bring people in like Matt Crane, who's married to a woman that worked for Dominion for 18 years. So if we're going to have a conversation about whether or not we have free and fair elections, and we're going to mock President Trump and say, oh, he called for the hanging of his... Okay, let's do all of that, but let's do it transparently, and let's not do it through a media apparatus that just pushes out dog whistles. Look, I'm I'm really, really, really disappointed in the debate questions. And I feel like I should have done what my gut told me to do. And my gut told me to say, this is a ridiculous question. Come up with a question that actually matters to the people in this room. And I tried to talk about that a little bit, but it was like this big old gotcha. You know, Barb Kirkmeyer is inside the legislature. And the amount of hubris that somehow people from the inside know how to run it better than people that run their own business and have to pay employees and have to navigate through all the different fees and taxes and regulations is just, it's hogwash. It's hogwash. So I guess I wanted to encourage you this morning. And as much as I liked everyone on the debate stage, I'm really a big fan of Scott Bottoms, just so you know. If anybody wonders where I stand, I really love that guy. I love the guy. I love the man that can serve the Lord in every way, but then also give back to service. And he's doing that right now in the Colorado legislature against what can only be considered an evil apparatus. So, listen, I think that what I said last night about the fact that we will take back the House, or take back the legislature, take back the governorship, take back the AG's office, take it all back. I think it's real. And you see the radical left, you see these bots and these people that are coming to my page and they're like, you have no chance. Well, they said the same thing about President Trump too. He had no chance. Here's what I do know. For 15 years, nobody ever called me anything. They didn't call me right wing, they called me nothing. They didn't call me that when they were taking hundreds of thousands of dollars of my money, or when I was sitting on all these boards that were helping the most impoverished people in our communities. They didn't say boo to me when they wanted my expertise when I was building out sophisticated systems for large NGOs that help people across the country. They didn't say boo about it then. Only when I came out in 2020 and helped everyone during the pandemic, and frankly aligned myself with people that were anti-vaxxers and learned more about a campaign of how are they actually hurting our children, and we're not making this the main thing to talk about. It wasn't until then that I found myself in the middle of this mess of watching them groom children, indoctrinate them, and do all this, that frankly I became the enemy. And much like everyone else that becomes the enemy, most of the people that stand out there, most of those people are great people that have just made a decision in their life that they're far enough along that all they care about is their brothers and sisters. And I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're independent. What I care about is what do you need? And how do we create that inside of our state to where you have the opportunity to achieve it or to obtain it. So, hey, God bless you all. I'll probably put these videos out every day and just to give you a feel for, you know, and you can ask me questions too. So feel free to go to Oltmann 2026, OLTMANN 2026.com and drop me questions. And if you want to volunteer, you can go there as well. People asked me that last night. But really encouraged by the people who were there. I'm actually even more encouraged by the other candidates because they did have a vast amount of talent. So, all right, God bless you. I'll talk to you guys soon.
That was me this morning, having a conversation with myself and with you guys. Yeah, the debate from last night. Let's get into it. We have a guest that's here. He's not he's a veteran now of the show. He's been on several times, and actually, I kind of want his thoughts as well, going through some of the debate stuff. So. You know, it's kind of like taking a right turn for him a little bit, but I don't want him to sit in the back room anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. Vince Lanci, he's a trader and knows more about commodities than I think that I could learn in a lifetime, and just an amazing dude. So, hey, welcome to the show. Oh, you're muted. Oh, still muted. Is he muted on our side or his side? On your side. It's that little button at the very bottom left. Little. Should be. Are you sure it's, yeah, that, wait.
No.
Right, there you go.
Good now?
Yeah, we're good. Good.
My mistake. Good. My
That's
mistake.
Right. Okay, so Vince, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. It's been a very hectic but positive week. It's one of those good busy type of weeks for us anyway.
Let it rain.
I know. I can't believe it. I'm in disbelief. I don't know what to think. But what's the election stuff? You're running for office?
Yeah, I'm running for governor of Colorado.
Wow.
Okay, so let me
awesome.
tell you what happened, right? So I went out and met with all the candidates. I've been in this fight for 5 years. I've been called every name in the book by a lot of really bad people, and some good people that got tricked by bad people. And so I went and talked to the candidates, and I wasn't satisfied that they were not doing the same thing that every other politician does. And that is, I'm for the Second Amendment. I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-life. It was a superfluous 30,000 foot, put an umbrella over it, and that's why you should vote for me. And I was like, why don't you guys get down to the tactical? Tactical meaning we know what we need to cut out of the budget. We know what people are thinking. We know that they want to feed their family. They don't want their kids groomed and indoctrinated. They don't want social issues being spun into the education system. They don't want that. I mean, and so when you start talking to people about fundamentally what really drives them, you get to a better place where I think you understand how to lead the state. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna declare for governor. And when I did, the left and the GOP attacked me. So I'm onto something, right? I mean, this is
yeah. I mean, you're on to. It's funny. I was thinking about this the other day. Your description of the people that are, what's the word you use? An umbrella.
Yeah.
Basically, an umbrella. They want to catch everyone under their tent or their umbrella for political purposes to get votes. Well, those people don't want to make a commitment because they're scared to alienate anyone right now, right? And I mean, this is me as an outsider, so I mean, I'm the confirmation for me to say that. But it seems to me that, and this is a societal comment, without being political, it's a societal comment. It seems to me that we're not in a big enough crisis for the people that need to make the right decisions step up. So I'm excluding people like you from that, meaning incumbents in politics will do the least they can to stay in power and not alienate anyone. And the parallel, and I'll give you a parallel that I know that you'll get. In the 70s, the inflationary concept was we need to stop spending, and everyone talked about it, but no one did it until the markets crashed. So I almost feel like the prophet, if you want to, put yourself in that category, the prophet doesn't get listened to until it's too late. So I feel like we're not going to react properly until it's actually a real crisis. You follow?
Yeah. No, I absolutely follow. And this is where. So anyway, 1,000%. But I do want to say this: I did call silver.
Of course you did. That's why I'm here. I'm here to say congratulations to you. Excuse me.
Okay, so I want to go back for a minute if I can, and I want to talk about this election stuff, and then I'll get into the commodity stuff, which I thoroughly enjoy talking to you about. Mm-hmm. It is. So last night when I was inside of the event, the first question they asked me was not a good question. And,
what do you mean?
Well, it was about the budget. I mean, it basically had two left-wing journalists. I mean, one I actually really like. I like Ernie a lot. So, but he's a left-wing guy. Two left-wing guys asking questions, gotchas. They had Channel 9 in the back that was recording it so they could break it all down, right? So all left-wing media was there. But the first thing that happened to me when I walked in the room is someone from Weld County Women's walked up to me and said, the amount of heat that we took to get you here is unbelievable from this group of people. And they go in like mean girls and say, you can't have Joe come speak. That was a real thing. So there's been 4 other events that have happened that were either town halls or Lincoln dinners or something to that effect. Four of them. Mm-hmm. And those 4 events, one of which I was invited to go speak up north near Weld. And an hour and a half later, I get a phone call that says, Victor Mark's campaign said that if you're there, he's not coming.
Okay.
He's not, right? So
Right.
there's this concerted effort to keep me out of it. So then there was this. Let's put up this post really quick. There's this organization, Turning Point USA. So Turning Point USA, I've given them a considerable amount of money, what I consider a considerable amount of money. And I pledged to them that I would give them money every month for forever, right? So I gave them 25 grand, and then I gave them the equivalent of $12,000 a month, $1,000 a month that I dropped to them, right? Since Charlie died. I wanted to continue this mission of debate. So I wrote this post because there's a Colorado Mesa University is having a debate. And there's a young man named James Rahman who was inside of a group. He's the new president of the Colorado Mesa University TPUSA chapter for that university. And so I get a phone call go ahead and put this up. Put up one. It says, good morning. Yesterday while I was at the SHOT Show, I got a call from a young person associated with the Colorado Mesa University debate put on by the school chapter. The conversation was one that described the actual conspiracy to keep me out of the event, and that the campaigns and local politicians lobbied to keep me out. Think about that. Before this, I told people working on the campaign to let it roll off their back. After the call, though, I saw it as a hill to die on. These people, this James Ruman, Logan Yoakum, and J.J. Scott Clark, they run the chapter for TPUSA. James made up a threat narrative. J.J. Scott followed it up. And then Logan, in a fit of rage, followed up with a bit of truth, adopting the leftist narrative that I called for political violence, which I have not. I, like President Trump and several others, have called for executions of politicians for treason, which stealing the sovereignty of Colorado people by fraud is in fact treason. It is not a victimless crime, and these beta boys are bullying the chapter and turning it into the opposite of what Charlie stood for. It's clear the campaign and politicians on both sides are afraid of me, and for good reason. I have cared deeply about the people of Colorado and fought for my brothers and sisters for 5 years. Before that, I have put my time, effort, and resources into serving the most vulnerable among communities for nearly 15 years. I have always been unselfish and used my energy serving the Lord. Could I have been softer at times? Sure. But it's not what or who I am. Defending those principles is paramount to the idea that we must be our brothers' and sisters' keeper. Below are a few screenshots of the beta boys being let off a cliff while they dishonor the mission and bully the chapter in a narrative run by leftist rhino liars. As I said before, I will no longer support Turning Point and sent a letter to this effect, not because of Candace Owens, but because of my theory or a nefarious indictment of Erica Kirk. No, I will not support an organization that permissions children to defy the very ethos of who and what the organization was founded. I'll be at a debate tonight in Fort Lupton. I have no intent on eating my own as they focus on the selected Democrat demons who have betrayed their state and stolen our voices, our sovereignty, and the soul of the state of Colorado. Yet this is another attempt to control the who represents the people of Colorado. And in this, these 3 beta boys, which is disappointing, by the way. The guy that actually started this chapter, his name is Jason Bias. He is an exceptional young man. And, that chapter, by the way, only has 60 members. Well, I know for a fact that 2 or 3 of those members will be leaving based on what they've done because they called me. And Vince, they called me to tell me that they felt like that this was just another one of those boys clubs of yanking down and deciding who gets to hear what. And the fact that they called me on the phone and said, Mr. Joe, I just want to tell you what's going on here. Now, right after this happened and it blew up and James is doubling down, they invited Chaz Everson to come to the event, who is a libertarian independent that's running, actually a really nice guy, to come be on the deal. They had written all this elaborate thing that said that they don't have any room. And then that turned into, it had nothing to do with not having room. It had everything to do with the fact that they were told to silence my voice. How does it make you feel knowing what Charlie stood for?
Well, it makes me feel Look, I'm locked in on something that you said early on, and it makes me feel. It makes me feel that I have a question before I tell you how I feel.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's a simple question.
Yeah.
Were these guys there before posing as for the things that you wanted and changed their tune when Charlie died, or did they come along after the fact? Because I'm confused. Oh, so they're interlopers.
Yeah.
So they're scumbags. They're scumbags.
Yeah, I mean, these are
these
are young kids. They're 18, 19 years old.
Right.
And you should see some of the posts they put up saying that I had a 0% chance. Look, I'm going to tell you this right now.
I think it's
I
ignorance.
can walk. What's that?
I think it's ignorance. Like, I don't even think they understand what you stand for. Like, they're 18, they're 19. They followed Charlie because he was a leader, but now they have their own ideas. And I think you got a lot of blind people being led by idiots, and now they don't know how to treat you.
And why did Charlie die? And what did they say about Charlie after Charlie died, Vince? What did they say about him? They said he was a homophobe. They said he was a racist. And you couldn't find anything that... And so I called for people to be tried for treason, and if found guilty, hung. What's the penalty for treason?
Death.
If you don't like it, change the law.
That's what treason is. You die. Yeah. That's against the nation.
So I think that even if it's state by state orchestrated fraud using election systems and you steal the voice of people state by state, it's still treason because you're trying to subvert the will and the ethos of an entire nation. That is treason in its most basic form.
And if you're going across states, it's federal. And if you're going, obviously it's federal to begin with, right? But it's also at the very least, it's like a RICO thing. You have people working with you. All these people are just criminals, it seems. That's my take on it.
Yeah. So I put up a post before that, and the post before that I put out there, it went all over the place, where I demanded that TPUSA give me back my money. Let's put that up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, now I can see. It's always about money for them. Forget about it.
I said, I hate liars. I despise political hacks and slanderous clowns more. Do with this what you want. TPUSA, you should weigh in. I'm done playing the political game. Do the right thing or give me my money back. How is this even real? Embarrassing. And for the clowns that stated I incited violence, I'm not entertaining the leftist fake news narrative. Read below. I was not going to do this, but now I feel I have to. Feel free to share. In September 2025, on the heels of Charlie Kirk's assassination, I donated $25,000 to Turning Point USA. That same month, I pledged $12,000 a year to TPUSA and are welcome to check the records. I also called my friend, and he donated $100,000 and attended a Mar-a-Lago event. If I'm not invited and shut out from the Mesa County candidate event, I will cancel my donation, as well as inform my friend of this silencing of my voice. Last year alone, we have quietly donated over $250,000 to various charities and organizations. I'm not giving my money to any organization that listens to political hacks who disparage me. You want to play leftist games, I will pull my support permanently. All you can decide what to do with this. You don't have to support me, but silence me and do what leftists do and cut me out of the conversation while defaming me. Yeah, not sure they read the room correctly. James Rothman, I'm not asking twice. Now, I said I'm not asking twice, meaning you can let me come to the deal or I'm done. Like, I won't, right? This little clown, this little punk kid, decided to say, by the way, he did something to try and disparage me inside of the text. He decided to say that it's because I don't have any room. And then later came back and said, the quiet part out loud, well, you called for political violence. Charlie was killed. Charlie was murdered by a leftist. Charlie was murdered by an ideal. And yet, they want to silence me.
Well, why are they in those positions that they're in? Who put them there?
Well, he was voted in.
Because they suck. They suck at their job.
Yeah, and he was voted in. And the guy that was there before him, who I'll talk quickly about, is running for House District 54. I'm going to have him on the show. I'm going to support him in every way. He was the founding member of Turning Point USA and handed it over. His tenure was up, handed it over to, very healthy, to James, who frankly has run it into the ground. And the bad part about this is that when you're 18, 19, or 20 years old and you learn how to burn bridges while you're standing on it, do you ever recover from that, Vince?
No, I mean, well, no, okay, no, you don't recover from it. But if you're a political operative or a clever, sneaky person, you find something else to leech off of, and you destroy the people under your feet, and you get out and you jump in a life raft first. I've seen people like this before. They come in, they infect. They don't stand for anything except that they have to stand for something. So I don't stand for these values. I pretend to stand for these values because it gets me a job. You know, it's like someone who's advertising for food that they don't like, but they say they do. And then eventually, when something better comes along, they leave, or they run the whole organization. This is bureaucracy. This is my libertarian side. I hate bureaucracy. And I know that these are leftist bureaucrats, but the bureaucracy gives them a home. It's like a nest. And before it was a bureaucracy, when it was a movement, they weren't acceptable. But after the originator dies, murdered, now you have a place that's kind of more like a feather bed for people. It almost feels like you might want to have an offshoot, like a new organization, but that would be crazy to do at this stage.
Well, I think the big issue that I have with this is that last night I had many people that were in the audience that came to the website and wanted to volunteer. They wanted to volunteer. Why? Why would people? Remember, it only held a couple hundred people, and you have people that are coming out of the woodwork to say, "Hey, we want to volunteer for you, Joe. We want to help you with this race." And I haven't spent $1. I haven't asked anybody for $1 yet. I just put up the campaign so you can give money at Oltmann 2026. But it is, how do we get to a place where TPUSA silences someone when the founder was murdered at a school so they could silence his voice, and then adopt a leftist narrative and say that I called for violence because I want accountability against those people who have committed mass violence against the people across the country?
TP's been watered down. It sounds like the people that are there are not interested at all, except in watering it down.
I think they're imploding. That's what I think. I think they're imploding. That leads me to kind of what's happening in Colorado. And why am I running? Let's put up this post, and Vince, you can tell me what you think. So this is Miss K.
I don't see the post yet. Oh, there you go.
Wait, hold on. This is a school in Jefferson County, K through 8, and this is a teacher there. You see those little swirly things on the back of the wall?
Yeah.
Do you know what those stand for?
Yeah, I do. The one in the top center that's associated with pedophilia. That's that eye up top there with the hair on it.
Yeah.
The rainbow, LGBT, and the swirl in the middle, as well as the like amoeba-looking thing. Those are pedophilia related. And you know what? They are. I'm not going to pretend they're not. They are.
So this is a teacher where the Mountain Phoenix Community School in Golden, Colorado, said, "We're delighted to welcome Katie Kaser, Miss K, to our 4th grade community. Miss K brings a deep love of mythology, storytelling, and the natural world, with teaching expertise across all grade levels, from early literacy in 1st and 2nd grade to the high school classroom. Her approach honors the whole child, head, heart, and hands, while balancing expectations and warmth and care. When she's not teaching, Miss K can be found with her beset hound, Biscuit, 4 ducks, and a pet snake, collecting rocks and finding inspiration in nature. We're so glad you're here, Miss K." and it's got a picture of this guy with pedophilia stuff around him inside of a school that teaches children.
Okay. You want me to just say what I'm thinking?
I want you to say all of it.
Well, I'm going to say some of it. These people are mentally ill. There's no eccentricity involved. They shouldn't be in society, let alone teaching people. And I think what we've done is we've enabled a lot of inferior-minded, weak people to judge us as being over the top. And as a result of that, look, this is fourth. I'm not even a fourth turning guy. This is fourth turning shit. It's like you're putting the morons in charge and you're telling them they're not morons. There's a time where the whole, we're going to put someone in charge who's a token, and the left will do that, and the right will do it too. But the token thing is bad. But then when you start saying, you know what, if I put enough tokens in there, and I don't mean token black or token Hispanic or token white, I mean token moron. I'm an equal opportunity employer who employs, I'm all about merit. And if they suck at their job, but they know how to kiss ass, they get the job. You get enough of them in the system, and the system becomes them, and it becomes run by a couple of sociopaths. This person shouldn't be within fucking 10 miles of a child. The first question, the thing is, why are they not even asked that? The picture's being taken, and someone who's there who's not the photographer, should say, what is that symbol behind you? And why are you putting symbols? I can't even put a Christmas tree in my picture. Why are you putting these there? Like, essentially, they've replaced religion with some sort of pagan-oriented, what's the word I'm looking for? Child sacrifice. It's pathetic. And look, I'm not even hardcore on this shit. Like, I'm a live and let live New York Republican. There's no place for that. There's no place for that. I'll stop short. There's no place for that.
When you go to the front page of this school, you have what that I find absolutely disgusting. You have a pop-up that comes to the site that has a kid running around in a rainbow deal.
Right. Yeah.
This is indoctrinating a child from a young age into a sick perversion, a deviancy. And then you're recruiting teachers into that environment. This is literally grooming and trafficking children right in front of you.
No, it is. It's grooming. Look, I'm just going to go back a little bit. The rainbow thing started with the Rainbow Coalition, civil rights, Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King before him. And it had a legitimate basis. Basically, all the colors come together and they form one color, right? Okay. So now what the Marxist left has done is they've taken the rainbow, which stood for something that was clean, wholesome, and ties civil rights to something genuine, and they've perverted it. They've latched it on. So it's you start to the whole alphabet gets represented, and what you're doing is you're just look. You run a business, and you know that every person you hire has to be better than the average, or your business gets worse, right? You hire them. You hire above the average. That's Six Sigma, I think they used to call it. So people aren't familiar. You're running a business. You've got 10 people, right? And let's say you're going to hire an 11th person. The 11th person you hire must be better than the average, because you have to assume in your mind you're going to fire the bottom person, and that's how you make your business get better. Well, what they're doing is they're progressively regressing. They're hiring people that are below the average at every level, but they might be a better shade of brown, or a better shade of non-binary, or a better shade of ass kisser. And so your talent drops. And so that's the fourth turning shit. These people are using, it's like a reverse Six Sigma. I want to get someone who's worse than the average, but who does what I tell them to do. It's a bunch of sycophants and morons. It's unfortunate, but that's where we are. And it has to go under before it gets fixed. I believe it's going to get worse.
And it doesn't matter what school we're talking about. We have teachers that are in schools that are literally screaming at their children and telling them to do a certain thing. And so the kids are like, okay. And now you have teachers that are like, we're the new, we're the new fighters, we're the new, and kids they're just running away from it. This was in a Colorado school in Frisco, Colorado, where the teachers got the students to go out and scream about hating ICE. Just for those of you that don't know, when you grow up in the hood, everyone tells you to hate the cops.
Yeah.
Right? Now imagine growing up poor and you're screaming 5-0, 5-0, 5-0, and everyone scatters. They scatter everywhere. Now imagine going to school where the teachers tell you that the police are bad now, and the hood tells you they're bad. Of course you're going to see cops get shot, right? It's going to happen.
Right.
Because now the fight, which is not right, is being backed by these deviants, these deviants. But take a look at this. Take this 13 seconds. They're teaching these kids to be psychopaths. And that's the new normal, Vince.
It is. They are the conservatives. This is crazy to hear. Conservative's not the right word. They are preservative. They want to keep their positions. And the people who want change are really just going back to a more traditional, like, we're the progressives now, in the sense that, I know it's a dirty word, but we're trying to progress to another level of sanity. And that's re-embracing God, re-embracing morals. You have to have a tether, because look, your comment about the whole 5-0, 5-0, if I could just comment on that. As a kid, when you were in the streets, right? You were in the streets of Baltimore, right?
DC, yeah.
Right. I grew up in Philadelphia, right? So in the streets, everyone in the neighborhood said, you don't talk to the cops. Don't be a rat, whatever the reason. And, if you want to do the whole 5-0 thing, if the cops came, you scattered. But when you went home and you talked to your parents, or you said to your teachers, the kids in the street said, we shouldn't trust the cops. The teacher said to you, I understand why you think that, but in the end, you need the cops. So that's the wrong way to think. Just walk away. The point is, the teachers who were supposed to unindoctrinate you in this street mindset, because you got to grow out of it at some point, end up indoctrinating you in. Yeah, thank God we did, right? Otherwise,
there's still, I don't care. I mean, Vince, you drive by a cop, you can be friends with cops, your blood pressure goes up just a little bit. In the back of your mind, you're like 5-0, 5-0. This is 5-0.
Right.
You can't run away from it. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are.
Do I have my inspection sticker with me? Do I have my registration with me?
You're like, well, am I straight? Am I straight? Am I straight? My taillights work. Everything. Okay, we're good. I'm in 2 nights of a car. They're not going to pull me over. Right? But Hoopty next to me, he's in trouble. They got him. They're going to hook him.
Right.
Well, so last thing I'll say before we get into the meat of why I need you on here to talk about things with people is that why am I running in Colorado? Why am I subjecting myself to these evil people, which, by the way, happen to be on both sides of the aisle, right? It doesn't matter who you're talking about. They don't like me because I can solve a problem very quickly. Right? You hand over the state of Colorado with me, you'll have 40% less employees, and I don't care. Go get a job in the private sector. And you'd say, oh, you don't care about us. No, I care about the people of Colorado, not patting your pocket and stuffing your face. Do you know how much money, by the way, that they gave out in bonuses last year to state employees?
I don't know, but it was too much. How much?
$29 million in bonuses.
In bonuses.
Bonuses. You get paid, here's your bonus. How many people in the private sector get to go $850 million in the hole, and included in that is a bonus for how great a job they did for going in the hole $850 million?
You don't get a performance bonus in government. You get paid a good salary, you get paid well, there's no performance bonus because there's no
absolutely.
performance.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's my
there shouldn't
point.
be. Yeah, I mean, whatever. What are you trying to do? Blackmail me again?
Yeah, but
Are you trying to black?
but this is in every state, brother. It's like a crime family. And I haven't even started talking about judicial bonuses. Bonuses in the judiciary. We haven't even talked about that. Judges getting paid performance bonuses.
For doing your job. That's not the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. But that's
you're not in sales. If you're not in sales and you're not in trading and you're not front office people get paid bonuses. Yes, operations people and back office people get paid bonus, but they're creating something that contributes to the whole. They're not pushing paper or pushing agendas.
So what happens is it's this great grift that happens. And so there's this post for the Colorado GOP. Not a huge fan of the Colorado GOP just because it hasn't seemed to get it right. But they put this post up that says that Colorado Dems turned $3.6 billion surplus into a $850 million deficit through reckless overspending, budget ballooning 50% while population grew less than 5%. Blaming Trump won't hide your mismanagement. Vote red to bring back fiscal control. Well, here's the problem, brother. I don't give a shit if you're a Republican or Democrat. You both suck ass. They both suck. I mean, we didn't get to a $29 trillion deficit or $37 trillion deficit because it was only Democrats. We got there because the people in positions of power don't give a shit about the people.
Hey, Joe, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm out at dinner, so.
Oh, you are?
I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah. I thought I told the guys that. But, okay.
No, you didn't tell me. All right. Give me a quick update on silver, and then I'll let you go. Sorry.
No, I told Lynn I didn't want to, because, I mean, I look at the setting. I wanted to make sure the setting was okay. Look, silver goes to $102 today through 100. And people continue to want to call a top. And there's definitely some speculative activity going on. But I want to focus on the truth of what's going on. What's going on is there's a circle of bids coming out of the Far East. China is bidding for it at $8 over where it's trading in the U.S. And when China bids for it, Hong Kong then bids for it $2 over China. And then when Hong Kong bids for it $2 over China, India bids for it $3 over Hong Kong. So China is I'll give you some real numbers. The U.S. is now trading $102 an ounce. China is trading $108 an ounce. Hong Kong is trading $110 an ounce. And India is trading $112 an ounce. If you think the market's going to come off, I'm not going to argue with you. But the physical demand is real. And the reason the physical demand is real is because I think there's something really big going on here. And the U.S. is now holding it back because we need it for something else, whether it be military, whether it be Samsung, whether it be solid-state batteries, I don't know. But the rest of the world is being squeezed. Now, some people think China is squeezing the rest of the world. I think we're squeezing China. But that's it. So I would not be a seller of silver. I'm not saying I'd buy it up here, but I would say this to you if you're looking at something like this. The major silver miners are only priced with silver being pulled out of the ground and being sold for like $30, $40 at most. So silver has to drop $60 for it to not be profitable for them to pull it out of the ground. So my bottom line is industrial demand is buying silver hand over fist. It will reconcile lower at some point, but it doesn't matter. We're in a new reality, and silver as well as gold are now the anchors behind a new future. That's what I got.
Well, I tell you what, I went back and watched our video before when it was at $43, and I was like, it's going to 100. I said, it's going to 100 in a year. And you were like, oh, Joe, that's pretty bearish. I was like,
No, you're right. I'm here to say yes. I was like, I think it's going. This is how that conversation went. I think it's going to 100 in a year, and I said that could happen, but I think it's going to $144 in 3 years. And you're like, well, I think it's going to happen sooner. Well, there you go. That's it. Yeah. So I'm here to say congratulations. In fact, you're not wearing a hat today. I have a hat that I think you'll like. I'm sending one to you. All right. I had them made. You ready?
Yeah.
So make it silver great again.
Make silver great again. So, you got to send
I'll send you one of those. I'm sending you one of
absolutely.
those.
Well, Vince,
Thanks
get
for
back to
having me
dinner.
on,
Get
Joe.
back to dinner. Hey, God bless you, brother. Thanks for putting up with
Congratulations
me.
Congratulations on your fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a good fight. All right, take care, brother. You know, Vince is one of my favorite people. I didn't know that he was actually in a restaurant, the taking time away from his family, so I apologize for that. But I wanted him to come on, but I also wanted to talk and get a little bit of his perspective on, am I crazy? Am I the only crazy one? I don't think I am. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, man, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the debate last night that I had, and there was a couple of questions that were asked, and that is, are you going to pardon Tina Peters? It's probably one of the best ones. And then there's the political violence question that was asked. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that, and then hopefully let's see if I can get them in. See what they're doing, working on right now. We're gonna see if we can get Ivan. When's he coming? He's on now? All right, commercial break. We'll come back. We'll be joined by Ivan Raiklen because I have some stuff I want to go through with him as well. All right, we'll be right back. In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle. Hi, I'm Joe, Supreme Leader of DCF Guns. What is DCF Guns, you ask? We're the best damn gun store and range in the universe. Do we have guns? We have all the guns. We got small guns, we got big guns. We even have beastly guns. We offer all types of training, and we have 5 ranges across our 3 locations. I'm a good shot. And of course, we have all types of ammo. We even have flamethrowers. Woo! We offer incredible membership opportunities, and members save even more on guns, ammo, and accessories. Military, both active and retired, and first responders get up to 40% off memberships. Come join the DCF family today, where we keep the range hot and the deals hotter. It's hot.
Every single time I communicate with you, I am always professional with you.
Well, I'm not.
It requires other people to contain their Tourette's syndrome. Okay? Why are you so spasmodic?
My Spanish,
Absolutely. Look behind you. Why should I? I'm communicating with you. Right? Look at your face.
Trust me, I'm using a lot
See how many people are constraining you? Look at me. Total control over my mind and body.
Hey, the committee will be in order.
Mr. Chairman, will you?
No shame.
Sir, it will be in order.
Treating these people that way.
This guy is threatening my family.
Members of the
threatening
audience,
my children.
members of the audience will please sit down or remove
Rape
themselves
my
from the
children.
committee room.
Rape my children, you sick bastard. Rape my children.
sit down, please.
Ooh. And Ivan sits down.
Thank you, Officer Fanone. Mr. Chairman, please control the deranged observer, Mr. Rakeland, so he doesn't create any other problems with us today.
Imagine what he did on January 6th with that demeanor. Look at my demeanor. Complete professional here.
Okay, I'm not wasting any more time. I saw that this morning live. I saw that live. And I sent Ivan some text messages. So, Ivan, welcome to the show.
What's up, Governor Oltmann?
Brother, I gotta tell you, I saw that. And look, one of the things that I think I was poke fun at Ivan. I was like, I wonder if he could actually fight. But let me tell you something. When I saw it live from a different view, here's what you didn't see, Ivan. And I wrote this to you. I said, LOL, you're a wrestler and former SF. Filoni Baloney stood no chance. I do not know how it looked like he was being held back. Good posture, cup at 90 degrees, perfect positioning for the block and takedown. So I couldn't stop laughing. Oh,
That's pretty good. Hey, if the producer can mute the other guy that's complaining, that has a hot mic, can you mute him?
Yeah, is it done now? Yeah, it's done. Sorry.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, so I mean, let's face it, Joe. I mean, the video is right there from 10 different angles. The audio is there from 10 different microphones, at least. I mean, the audience can decide for themselves who, I guess to the victor goes the spoils. So you tell me who the victor is. Remember, on one side is me. On the other side, you have a current U.S. Capitol Police Officer man who presented himself professionally, a current U.S. Capitol Police Officer woman who also acted professionally. You have two former U.S. Capitol Police Officers, Acanilo Ganell and Harry Dunn, as well as former MPD officer, what's his name? Michael Fanone, and then the other guy, former MPD officer Dan Hodges. In addition to that, they have all of the Democrats that are the carnival barking lemmings in the back clapping, and you notice how they clap after disgraced MPD officer Fanone assaults the current U.S. Capitol Police Officer female when he says, "Don't you touch me. Don't you effing touch me." So
that is the guy.
That's 6, 12, a couple dozen people, and I'm standing there alone. I think, honestly, I don't know if your producer can bring it up. The tweet that I just posted out.
Yeah, find it,
guys.
Most
recent one.
Find it.
Let's see here. Just that picture.
I keep following you, and it keeps unfollowing you. Like I follow you, and then they unfollow.
It says, I just single-handedly devastated the entire Democrat Party while teaching Republicans what courage looks like, as the White House was busy shilling for Miriam Adelson's country of loyalty, all without a grimace. And you see my Cheshire cat smile. That's probably the best caption of what took place that day.
So one of the things that I love about Ivan is that we were at an event in Wisconsin, and
that's right. That's right.
And the only two people in the entire place that they were like, "Hey, these guys here. They're causing trouble." I was like, "All right, let's go." Let's go outside. So I went outside. One of them had to sat right down next to, or Ivan sat right down next to him. Was like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?"
What's up, buddy? I hear you're going to disrupt and troll me.
So, but it was only the two of us that were willing to just basically call him out. I was ready to go. You were ready to go. That was my first indication. Like, okay, it's a real guy. This guy's.
I was angry because every time I do an event where it's public, and usually when it's free, that the opportunity for Antifa or the haters to come out is pretty high. And so I always tell security, I get first dibs. If you get first dibs, I mean, that I don't like that.
I roll at it.
If they happen to knock me out and I'm out of commission for whatever reason,
Come on, man. That's
you
not
can
a
go
good
ahead
thing.
and jump in. But until that happens, I get first dibs.
I think I'll slow down around 60. I think around 60, you could probably say, I mean, as long as I can still push
But
up
it's not
235.
it's not needed.
Yeah. It's not what's not
I
needed.
mean, you saw what I was able to do with just making sounds from my vocal cord.
Ivan, I'm telling you, remember in Wisconsin, I took the phone out of his pocket, threw it on the ground. He's like, he assaulted me.
No comment. No comment.
Cop was like,
I couldn't hear what you
did
said.
you do that? I was like, I have no idea what's happening. I didn't see anything. So explain to me. You were in this. There was a hearing. Filoni Baloney was testifying, right? Is that
Actually,
right?
I think it's Fedsurrectionist Fanon.
Fanon.
Fedsurrectionist Fanon. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, look, we have this kabuki theater on the left that we just can't get past, right? They continually say misinformation, disinformation, and January 6th was an insurrection. They're doubling down on terms that they know are fraudulent, that just aren't true, right?
Yeah.
And this guy's wearing a shirt, an Antifa shirt.
I guess it's some sort of rock band, I guess, back in the day. Dropkick something?
Yeah, Dropkick Murphy. But on the front, on the back, it says, I do something to Nazis. What does it say on the back, guys?
Fighting Nazis since 1996 or something?
Yeah, fighting Nazis till 1996. Who would wear that into a
Yeah, I don't know what that
congressional
means.
meeting?
I mean, I'm pretty domesticated, I guess. I don't know what that rock band is, and I don't know what that means in terms of 1996.
I don't either. Maybe it's the start of Antifa?
Well, I'll say this, Joe. I did happen to read this guy's book, and they all admit reality. It's always great reading their stuff. And I quote from page 12 of 243 on the Kindle version. I quote, and he said, this is Michael Fanon's book, quote, from time to time, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi calls to check in, sometimes via FaceTime at 3 a.m. I don't think she sleeps. I've had drinks with Congressman Eric Swalwell, a Democrat, and Adam Kinzinger, a Republican. Liz Cheney and her dad took me out to dinner. Close quote. 3 a.m.? What happens at 3 a.m. on a FaceTime call? Sounds like a video call to me.
Burlesque call? Show her fake boobies? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean,
what I can say is that you probably have more than a professional relationship with someone if you're communicating with them at 3 a.m. Would that be a fair assumption to make that most people would agree with?
Yeah, I think they would absolutely agree with that. Look, we're in a place right now where, I'm at the edge of my 2 weeks. I was called. I had somebody that said something to me. They said, Joe, you can put this out. Something really drastic is going to happen in the next 2 weeks. That's a post I put out yesterday, or excuse me, last Saturday. Last Saturday, yeah.
Well, I delivered it for you.
I mean, I think there are mass arrests coming, Ivan. I think that there are sitting politicians that are going to be arrested. I think the Dominion voting system employees are going to be arrested. I think that there will be lawyers, politicians, people inside of the judiciary, judges. They're all going down.
Okay, let's pause for a second.
Yeah.
Name me the individuals that will effectuate that. Are you referring to the Department of Justice that is controlled by Jolene Ann Loria that's going to do that? A name you've never heard of, and you should, because she manages all HR, IT, and money flows in and out of the Department of Justice. 19 years she's been the controller.
Now let's go. Let me explain something to you. And this will be a good conversation. This is why I wanted you on. One, because I knew you had good form. You were ready to drop that cup in a minute. Had it become violent, you would have kept that Cheshire cat smile, and you would have continued to smile all the way through putting him down and making him go to sleep. Am I wrong?
No, I wouldn't have had to do that. So I was actually bracing for impact, and in my mind I said, you know what? He's going to hit me. And the first words out of my mouth would be, and that's exactly what you did on January 6th to unarmed, peaceful First Amendment election justice rally attendees, along with your colleague, Jason Bagshaw, that almost murdered Victoria White, woman, and your colleague, Lila Morris, that actually murdered Roseanne Boylan. That's exactly what America needs to see, that's what you did on January 6th.
Man, see, you just basically out-chessed me. Because here I'm thinking, beating the brakes off of a guy that literally would represent everything bad about our country. And you took it backwards and said, no, I'll just take it on the chin. I'm not sure I have it in me to take it on the chin and not put him down.
No, you saw I slightly leaned forward.
You did.
Because while I'm not going to exhibit any aggression, I'm not going to exhibit any cowardice at the same, within the same sentence. There's no way.
But from that position,
death over dishonor. Okay.
You have to say that with a 90-degree angle, holding that cup, your right arm was extended down. It was you were in the perfect position that if you wanted to, you could put him down. Say what you want. That was perfect positioning.
I was there to expose the truth. And
just at least tell me fundamentally I saw it right.
You can see what a rabid dog, Benone, was doing when the light was shined on him.
Yeah, he showed himself.
Literally the proverbial cockroach, and I was the magnifying glass in between the light.
Yeah, it was great. You did a great job. So let's go back.
I always advocate for peaceful, patriotic, legal, moral, and ethical solutions to the maximum.
Yeah,
and again, it's going to be extremely peaceful for me.
Yeah, I pray it is, but there's a lot of things that are happening right now that lead me down a path that, obviously I have higher security. I just had to put more security into my house. I had to make sure that I brought in people, security detail to handle stuff when I'm running for governor. The death threats are 2 to 3 a day, or excuse me, 2 to 3 a week, and it keeps intensifying. Yeah, I'm not talking about a guy sitting in his basement. I'm talking about guys that, maybe you get more than that. If you do, God bless you.
No, I'm joking. I was surprised. I was expecting a massive backlash, right? Because I devastated him, right? It's all over the media, so obviously everybody sees it, and all the leftists are triggered. And I was expecting massive amounts of threats to come rolling in. I have hundreds of messages from people that I haven't heard from in years to decade. They're like, "Oh my God, that was a masterclass. Thank you for doing that." Just on and on and on and on. Just hundreds. Whether it's text on platforms that I don't really use. It's just crazy. So I guess that's my 5 seconds of fame of literally not really doing anything other than just keeping my cool.
Okay, so I do remember the one that we haven't played in a while. I played it, I didn't have you on when you did it, where Hunter Biden is walking through the hallway. And what did you say? What did you say to him?
Well, the one that went viral was, "What kind of crack do you smoke, Mr. Biden?"
Yeah. And I said, that's got to be Ivan. That has to be Ivan. All right.
Yes, I have had some moments. Keep in mind that I'm there on such a regular basis that the entire U.S. Capitol Police Force knows who I am. And now after yesterday, if there was a member of Congress that didn't know my name, me by name, I think at this point they do, especially when Jamie Raskin, at the end you played the clip on C-SPAN, he's calling me out and says, "Hey, Chairman Jordan, why don't you go ahead and stop your deranged observer?"
Who was deranged though? This is the lies that come from them. Right.
Meanwhile, as he's saying that, and you're watching the video, I'm sitting there in perfect posture and form, respecting the institution that I'm sitting in, even though I consider pretty much every Republican in there as a coward, cuck, and every Democrat as a complete criminal.
Demon, yeah. Criminal demon. And you sat down next to someone who was a Democrat that you triggered when you sat down next to her. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's how I just like to speak the truth. And I'm not going to bend a knee, just like you've been doing for the last 5-6 years. That's why I'm going to make an announcement. Breaking. I'm going to break right now that I have yet to make my decision on who I'm going to endorse in the Colorado primary for governor. And I might make my decision here in the next few seconds.
You going to endorse me?
You got to let the audience know when the primary is.
Well, we have the caucus first. We got to go through the caucus because I'm going to go through the caucus. So that's
Okay, how does that work?
That's April 8th, and you basically go through you go to the caucus and they basically vote for you. You have to get over 30%. Now, last time I was there, I had 73% of the vote in a straw poll. That was in 2022. So I have a pretty good idea that I didn't erode 40% of my support across the state.
Who else is running that is a legitimate candidate?
Scott Bottoms and Victor Marks is making a splash, but he's got some issues. But
so I think Victor Marks is probably the biggest name, right? Other than you.
Yeah.
So then, how would you distinguish yourself from him?
Well, where do you want me to start? I mean, I'm going to be tactical about how I run the government. I'm going to basically doge the government and do some things to make sure that we bring down taxes. I'm going to get rid of property tax. But as you know, I spend a lot of time servicing the most, if you have a tree and 60% is good and 40% is bad, you try to make sure the disease and the rot of that 40% is removed. And so I really want to give education standards and opportunity to the poorest among us. I want to make sure that we have trade schools. I want to make sure the schools that come in or the...
So before you get into all the policy wonk stuff, well, I'm going to make it easy for you and the audience.
Yeah.
Of everyone running for governor, who stood against the COVID jab?
I did.
Anyone else?
No.
I don't need to know anything else. I endorse you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That is the single most important characteristic of anybody that I want in my government.
I think Scott
at
Bottoms
the federal and state level. If you stood against COVID and the jab and protected your own body and yourself, you're more prone to have an interest to do the same thing to others. If you don't even have the self-respect or have critical thought to do that to your own body, I have no patience or time for you. Because we already went from a belligerent, illegitimate, tyrannical Biden criminal syndicate, and we've now transitioned and we've upgraded from that to a coward cuck Republican government, and now we need to upgrade from there. And the only people that will have the courage to do the necessary punishing of both parties, one for being tyrannical, two for being cowards. So from traitors, we went from traitors to cowards.
Yep.
Now we move to patriots. The number one litmus test for that, Joe, in my opinion, and I want to hear your take on it, is what you did during COVID. Because if you're part of that small percentage minority, you need to be running the show.
Well, so I'm going
to be running the show.
So I'm going to take you back to March of 2020 when they started shutting down businesses. That was when I got involved, right? I built the reopen movement, reopen Colorado, reopen all these states.
Yep.
So I started that, and then that grew to these other, reopens around the country, right? So I started that, and I started advocating for businesses as I watched them burn to the ground when they said that you can't catch anything if you go to Target or Home Depot or any of these big companies. So that's how it started for me. I started by advocating for my communities day one. Now, I had done that for 15 years before, but never in a place where I had to enter the political realm. And then from there, it just started to bleed into, watching them groom our children. I started FEC United, which is Faith, Education, and Commerce. And then they started writing bad things about me. And look, I've never seen a fight I didn't like. And that's when I really started focusing in on how do I help my community. So that led to me being on the call with Eric Coomer, which led to me basically ruining my life for 5 years. And having to go through this fight, which is, it's supposed to go to trial in April. I'm really excited about going to trial in April for it. And then I find out this morning that these cucks want to move it to July now, another 3 months. So it just never ends. Like it's like kicking the can.
Huh? Can I make one recommendation?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it privately. It's better that I say it privately.
Dude, I will take every bit of criticism. I'll take it publicly. You do not have to hide anything from me or the people that are listening.
Okay. If there's any way that you can get your entire household on board in a passionate manner, that will be the massive difference. If you can focus on that and get everybody on the same sheet of music, you will be unstoppable.
You mean my wife?
Take it for what it's worth. Yeah.
Man, this
that is it's most important.
I feel like you're just had a seat at the table when I was talking to my wife. Look,
you have to figure out what will it take for them to have full buy-in?
You know,
It's not like ask them, what would it take to get the full buy-in to get to yes? Not like, I don't know how else to say it. You will be unstoppable when you do that.
so I'm like,
Because you have everything else.
chills.
You have everything else going for you.
So my wife is completely diabolically opposed to me running for any office, and my children don't want the pain that comes with people attacking their dad that they've known all their life, right? That I've been an incredible father. I mean,
If there's anything I can do to help change that perception of where their stance is, I'm all in.
yeah,
Because we need people like you to be like governors in every state that stood your ground. Because I have a vested interest in somebody like you to be a governor, even though I'm over here in Virginia. We just lost Virginia.
well, you got the elections stolen in Virginia, and they know that the elections were stolen in Virginia. They were tracking them very closely. So I think that's a part of what's about to just kind of collapse in on the government of Virginia and around the country. And I don't think it's going to come from the DOJ, right? I think it's going to come from.
I guess if I was saying a message to, I haven't met your family. If you can crop this out and clip it out, I'm nobody, but I'm pleading with them to support you. And the reason why I am is because there are almost no men throughout this country that have done as much as you to reject the tyranny, to get us in the position that we are in right now, to be able to then punish those that conducted the tyranny. You and I probably know all the men and women that were behind it the last 5-6 years.
A small
that
bucket.
have earned a seat at the table to run this country.
Yeah. Well,
So please reconsider your position, ma'am.
Yeah, no, it's
Kid.
and I'll tell you that I think they've come to the conclusion that I'm not a politician. I went to my first debate last night, and the first question they asked was, "How are you going to run the budget of Colorado?" And I looked around the room, and all these faces were like looking at each other, like, "Is that the most important question to you?" And the questions kept coming that were just as stupid, like, "What bills would you, laws would you, get rid of?" And I'm thinking to myself, like, you're just totally disconnected from the community.
When you're at these forums. So I ran for U.S. Senate just briefly in 2018 in Virginia.
Yeah.
And do not let them drive the narrative with the questions. Acknowledge that the question happened, but before you answer it, you have to for your own self filter what you know is probably the most important question for that person in their position to ask you, and then say that this is more important to answer. Answer that question, and if there's time left, then address their question.
Yeah,
that way, it's not ignoring them, but it's also educating them that, one, you're not going to be bullied by the misinformation and the gatekeeping info drivers, and then you get what's out that's important. Don't let them shape your vocabulary and verbiage on how you describe things.
Yeah, and now that I've had one debate under my wings, and I actually see it, and I was shaking my head. I kept sitting there shaking my head as I asked questions, and I'm like, that is a stupid question. That is a dumb question. And these are people who are supposed to be smart asking these questions.
Hey, the older we get, the dumber everyone around us becomes.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I'm listening to the questions, and it was like children's questions. Like, of course you're going to balance the budget. Of course you're going to make strategical decisions and tactical decisions inside the government in order to make sure that it's better for Coloradans. But let's get to the real stuff that people care about. Like, how much money's in their bank? Do they have job security? And this is the third question they asked. You ready for this, Ivan? What are you
First question should be, what are you going to do day one? Are you going to pardon Tina Peters?
I said it.
And there you go. Okay, that is
the only one. The other three,
most important question.
The other three were like, squeak, 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 squeak. And I actually like those guys.
Second question is, what will you do as the chief executive officer of Colorado as it relates to Tren de Aragua, right? That would be my second question.
Well, so these are the questions where you get into the things that eradicating violence, eradicating gangs within the environment, cooperating with ICE.
And I love that word, eradicating them. There's no capitulating. There are no half measures. It's immediately solving the problem at its root and at its core. Instead of some, I'll take a look, I'll consult, I'll look at this and that. No. 95% of the community does not want violent crime in their community. So you remove it.
Yeah, this is where I get into the questions that I thought were important. But they did ask me if I wanted to build gallows and hang the Synagogue of Satan leadership that we have in Colorado. And I kind of walked past it, I got a smile, and I was like, they committed treason. And I think if you commit treason, then you should hang. And it's in the Constitution. If you don't like it, change it. Change the law. Law states that if you commit treason, you get hung, right? You die. So if you don't like it, change it. It's not my rule. It's not my law. It's our law, right? They committed treason. It wasn't a victimless crime, and they should hang. So 9 News picked up, ran with that, like, the Synagogue of Satan going after the Jews.
No, it's not about that. It's about, so I got, in the background, I got a sign. It's called Department of Retribution, and everybody gets all, spun up about the word retribution to include Susie Wiles. Well, she doesn't know what the definition of retribution is. Let me remind you. Well, I'm going to remind Susie that retribution stands for punishment for a wrong committed. What part of that do you not like? I think that's biblical principle. That is a just principle. That is a constitutional principle. Our statutes are based on criminal law in terms of creating accountability, right? I use the term retribution. So, meanwhile, let them conduct self-mutilation. Let them mutilate our children and our bodies. No. Well, you like Susie?
I'm the verdict's out. I think that I don't like Todd Blanche. I think Pam Bondi is really bad. I think we have a lot of people, I call them Judases and Brutuses, right? Remember, it wasn't Brutus was the only one stabbing Caesar. It was like 7 of them that were around Caesar that were stabbing Caesar.
Yeah, but guess who's running all of them right now?
And when he looked up and he looked at him, he says, "Et tu, Brutus," meaning you too, Brutus. Surprised.
Yeah, because he knew about all the other ones.
And he knew, and they executed at the right time. And as we head into the midterms, the same thing is happening to President Trump. He is surrounded by Judases that took their bag of silver and Brutuses that are planning the demise of President Trump.
And who provided the silver?
Well, we don't know yet. Well, we do know yet, but I'm not going to on the show. Yeah.
250 million came from Miriam Adelson, right?
So
250 million went to, but then how would that be funneled? It'd be funneled through the campaign and the PACs, right? For the campaign. Who ran those?
Well, and we know that $25 million in just a 1 quarter disappeared heading into the election for the Trump campaign. So stuff that I know.
And you know that Miriam, according to Donald Trump, that he said in Israel, Miriam is more loyal to Israel than the United States. I'm quoting Donald Trump saying that. Who happens to be his #1 funder. Interesting. Well, and he says that Susie Wiles is the most powerful woman in the world that receives her silver from Miriam Adelson. And by the way, Susie Wiles was on Bibi Netanyahu's 2020 re-election campaign. And by the way, Miriam Adelson also is the biggest donor to the Likud party, who's headed up by Benjamin Netanyahu. So once you see the money flows, it answers everything. Then you start to think, that's how the Republican Party is controlled by Miriam Adelson policy. That's why the White House always continues to operate in support of Miriam Adelson's policies, particularly after Charlie Kirk was murdered September 10th, particularly after Elon Musk was booted on May 31st. So evident, man.
Yeah, it is evident. And, I don't question what you're saying, but I do question the fact that President Trump is not smart enough to figure this out. And he's not running his own Brutuses and Judases through the system. And here's why I say that. Maybe
it's not that he's not smart. It's just that I think he knows all this. He says it himself.
But I think he's working.
Quoting his own words.
I think he's working against it in such a way that he has a counter current. He can see who is where. And
Name
what.
the individuals that are the countercurrent. The only countercurrent to that would be bringing in Elon Musk,
which he just had a conversation with.
Well, that's a
less
good
than
sign.
2 weeks ago.
Well, maybe he's starting to listen to us. Because right now he's been ignoring 79 million of us that voted, campaigned, donated, supported him, door knocked. He's ignoring those 79 million of us in favor of Miriam Adelson, who provided him 250 million.
So let me tell you how weak people with a little bit of courage operate. Okay. When you're arm wrestling, when you see two people arm wrestling, and you know this because you're a Green Beret, you understand special operations, right? You understand that some of your brothers will run through the door first before others will, even though they're wearing the same badge, doing the same things, went through the same training. They're just not built like you, right? You know that to be a fact, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a critical point when you can see it in the eyes of the person in front of you, whether or not you can or can't defeat them when you're on the battlefield. You know that you have the strategic advantage, or you don't, even if there's only 10 of you and there's 200 of them, right? Same thing can be said in this situation. As soon as the clock starts to tick to the direction where it favors you, people grow courage, because then the risk to them becomes less.
Exactly. And now Sunshine Patriots are coming out.
So yes, Sunshine Patriots that were never patriots before, but in this new world where the victors write history, they now have a place where they can stand comfortably, knowing that there's a high probability they'll survive, right? I think that's where we're at right now. We have people that are seeing the ticking, and they're waiting for it to tick. And I think there's a war going on inside of our government. It's a big war. You have, that deep state's a big deal.
It is.
You have President Trump up here that's saying two things. And I think this is absolutely 100% something we have to pay attention to. From 2021 to 2024, the end of 2024, President Trump was nearly the most persecuted in the history, definitely the most persecuted president ever to sit. The retribution, the attacks, the persecution against him was on a level never seen. Convicted of felonies. Had he not won in November, he'd be in prison today, right?
Yeah, if he was alive, yeah.
If he was alive, he'd be in prison, correct?
Correct.
The Secret Service failed him, and he almost lost his life, and other Americans lost their life before he was elected, correct?
Correct.
Elon Musk had to walk in and press a couple buttons and make sure that there were things that were done to make sure that the election systems in Serbia and here could not effectuate enough votes in order to steal the election.
Mm-hmm.
But we watched the election down ticket get stolen at record numbers across the entire country. More Democrats were actually elected down ballot. If you take the two, the president and the House of Reps and the Senate, right? And even that was close. And then we've lost almost every special election, even the one that happened 3 weeks after, in an area that was predominantly Republican in Pennsylvania, lost a seat that hasn't been a Democrat in over 30 years, right? Okay. Do you think President Trump is going to even at any point, do you think he's going to subject his family to generational ridicule and persecution that will absolutely happen if he's not effective in actually eliminating machines and mail-in ballots and getting to the bottom of the deep state? Because frankly, that's the only thing you have, Ivan. You cannot negotiate your way out of this. They could make a deal with him today. It doesn't mean tomorrow they honor it, and he knows that he's not playing with people that are honorable. They have their own rules.
So over the first year, here's what I've observed.
Okay.
James Comey is still out there freely treasoning and running the FBI. Okay.
And he's using who to do it. And he's using who to do it.
Every single legacy supporter and loyal person of his that
you
are
mean
still
Kardashian Patel?
The FBI.
Kardashian Patel? Come on, man. That guy is as crooked as that guy's more crooked than a tree limb. Kardashian Patel. Kardashian Patel. Cash Patel.
His full name.
Cash Kardashian Patel.
He doesn't need to.
Dude,
he doesn't need to use Kim Kardashian Patel for this, okay? Or counterfeit cash. I think you called them.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that James Comey and Chris Wray still run the entire apparatus of the Washington field office and headquarters FBI, with or without a Kardashian. Okay? Let me finish. Department of Justice. Is Eric Holder still running the DOJ? Is Sally Yates still running the DOJ? Is Rod Rosenstein still running the DOJ? Well, the person that's been there the longest at the senior level for 19 years, running all the money, HR decisions, and IT at the DOJ, she's still there. Jolene Ann Loria. Pam hasn't moved her. So she can slow roll, block, and do whatever on behalf of the deep state. Well, unimpeded. Same thing over at the FBI, which means that James Comey can continue to freely treason, which means John Brennan can freely treason.
So then how do we have an elimination operation?
He can go ahead and recruit his lackeys to be the governor of Virginia. So that's what's occurred in the first year.
They're rolling in Second Amendment, taking away Second Amendment, and they're rolling in it all.
All under the complicit inaction of this administration.
So what's the answer, Ivan? Because, I mean, look, I was told within 2 weeks. 2 weeks is coming up. That these people
when did you say that? Or
not 11, 12 days ago.
So
I got a call from a source that said, Joe, don't
remember
worry
when
about
Dan Bongina and Counterfeit Cash said that on Maria Bartiromo show? In 2 weeks, we're going to provide you stuff?
Yeah, but this is my source is different. My source told us the day that President Trump was going to get on TV, when he had that 17-minute press conference and he left abruptly and was talking about all the things that are happening in the country, that he was told not to tell anyone what was getting ready to happen. And he reached into, I was told that day, we're going to war, Joe. President Trump's going to tell us we're going to war. I mean, that was the signal to me. And 10 days later, while President Trump's eating Skittles, they snatched out a sovereign leader of a country like they were going to a homecoming dance. Right?
I want you to be right, but I don't remember. After decades of generational rotten corruption across our institutions, the national security apparatus, DOJ, FBI, CIA, etc.
Yeah.
I do not believe one thing from any single person that I have known, that I know, or that I don't know in these institutions to do exactly what you're saying is going to happen. I don't believe any of it. They are guilty until they prove their innocence. And once they prove their innocence, I will say, okay, you were right, Joe. Until that happens, you're not right, Joe.
Hey, look, I don't, and I said this when I put out the post, it reached 1 million people. I go, look, man, I hope I'm right too, right? I hope the person that told me this is right. I wasn't right. I said, look, my same source told me this, that politicians sitting in office are going to be arrested.
So I'm going to operate as though it won't happen. And so then I have to come up with ideas on how we can actually effectuate its occurrence.
Yeah.
I think one methodology is we have to remind President Trump that basically, but for God saving him in Butler, he'd be deceased. And that's the end of the Trump name. They would have erased him. Okay. So I get it. You want to accumulate wealth and you want to put names in Gaza. You want to get a hotel in Gaza and you want your Nobel Peace Prize. And that's kind of your focus on legacy. I don't think that that's my opinion, the best course of action. We voted for him for accountability. We voted for him to stop crime. We voted for him to have some sort of semblance of a constitutional republic, right? And the only thing I think he has not done that he can do to exhibit courage, he's got to invoke the Insurrection Act, order the mass declassification of all the corruption in government holdings, work with Elon, Dana White, Hegseth, and Tulsi Gabbard to do the governmental holdings of corruption, and then with the private sector CEOs and
how do you get
board members of Dana White?
How do you get Dana White?
He's on the board of Meta. So being close and friends with Donald Trump and on the board of Meta, I'm sure he has a mechanism of leverage to get Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram direct messages and content within those user accounts of every single government politician that has criminal activity associated with that account, to declassify it and share it all to the broader public, so that going into March, when primaries start in states like Texas, those incumbents with their evidence out there and their dirty laundry out there to see for the whole world to see will be forced into retirement, opening opportunities for the Joe Oltmans and all other January 6ers, purebloods, to run for every single House seat, Senate seat, state legislative seat over the 46 states that have elections this year, and completely overhaul the Democrat and Republican parties with patriots. That's a simple solution.
Well, it's a simple solution, but it's
But it requires Donald Trump to have courage.
Yes,
And it requires him to reject what Susie Wiles tells him to do on behalf of Miriam Adelson, and actually listen to the 79 million of us that voted for him. Now, I'll give you an offer, Mr. President. You shield for Miriam Adelson for the first year. All we need is a little bit of your attention. Invoke the Insurrection Act, do the mass declass, and then completely stop all this corruption, whether it's Doge corruption, Minnesota fraud, daycare fraud, Ohio elderly care fraud. Virginia is now openly insurrecting with the new government violating already, going into First and Second Amendment at schools. Yeah. All right. That's all I got, bro. I'm going to keep devastating the deep state and the information war.
I think it just gets
to become governor.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, that I'm sitting here looking at the amount of censorship that I have on every platform, including X. I mean, it doesn't matter where I go to have a voice. I try to talk about things that are simple. And I could walk in and talk to 200 people that are on the Democrat side, and I could say, nobody could tell them who I am. I could walk in and say, this is all the things you're dealing with. And they would all be like, yes. And they're like, oh, by the way, I'm also a Christian conservative. And they would be shocked, because most people want the same thing, Ivan. Mm-hmm. It's the politicians that have created this division and created these little football teams. And if President Trump doesn't invoke the Insurrection Act or emergencies at this point to get to the bottom of it, none of the apparatuses around him are going to have the will or the ability to get it through the judiciary. 140 times the judges have stopped him. Plus, the judges have stopped him in 1 year. Yeah, 140 times.
That's what I'm saying. Declassify every single corrupt piece of evidence in the government holdings and the executive branch on every single one of these judges. Expose them all. Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, see if I can go ahead and. So I have. Okay. Well, listen. I think
all I got, bro.
I think the ODNI report. I think the ODNI report needs to be declassified for sure. That would be on the Dominion voting systems, right? And that will lead by itself to mass arrests on the election systems.
And who's going to conduct those? Like which U.S. attorney is going to do that?
I don't think any of them. I think you're going to have to call for military tribunals. That's why I think that if you had the Insurrection Act, or if you had some sort of emergency power that was invoked based on treason in the country.
There you go.
But I think it's coming.
Now we're on the same sheet of music here.
But look, I think that anyone that thinks that you can not do that is out of their mind.
They're radical retards.
Well, the left and the right are a problem. You talked about the feckless cowards in the Democrat or the Republican Party. It's not feckless. They're complicit. These are complicit people that are
I'm being diplomatic when I call them that. I'm being diplomatic when I call them that.
I mean, look, people that I thought were good people in the Republican Party that were sitting congressmen and or senators and House reps. I wouldn't say that now. I wouldn't say that now at all. I mean, we're really close to losing everything that we have. And without the Insurrection Act and or emergency powers and doing military tribunals and having 50,000 people hang for treason, because they went state by state and stole the sovereignty of the people and enslaved them. It is slavery, Ivan. We are in a state of slavery. This is not just, oh, they stole our vote and made us pay a little bit more in taxes. They are literally stealing our identity, who we are as people.
If I was a violent guy, I would be violently agreeing with you right now.
Yeah, we don't want to violently agree. But if President Trump doesn't do something, you're going to see. I mean, Virginia. I got a thing from a friend of mine that's in Virginia. He's like, Joe, they're literally trying to steal our Second Amendment rights. And I go grab your brothers. Go get a group of 2,000-3,000 men. Go into that Capitol room and do not move. Do not get up. Make them bring in the National Guard. Make them bring in people, and say you're not taking our rights. You guys are finished. Take their furniture, put it out on the drive. Be prepared for them to show up at your house. Make sure you got enough brothers where if they show up, you show up with 100 people.
Well,
it's
hold on.
going to take.
Listen real quick. Listen to me.
Yeah. No violence, by the way, Ivan. I didn't say anything about violence. Show up. Pick their furniture up. And them in it. Walk them outside. Put them outside. Say you're being evicted. You don't represent us. This election system this is kabuki theater. These are selected people on both sides of the aisle.
So I was there last Monday on Martin Luther King Jr. Day for Lobby Day in Richmond, Virginia with VCDL.
Yeah.
Virginia Citizens Defense League.
Yeah.
It wasn't as big as when we had it in 2019. That was massive. But yeah, I mean there are options. We definitely have options on the table in order to fix this.
Look, we threw T over for a 2-cent tax, right? 2-bit tax. And
I'm ready. My 2 teenage boys are ready. We'll see how ready other people are. I only recommend get ready.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, if we fight together, we win. If we fight apart, we don't. So we've got to get to a place where we find enough leverage and density, because they've created density. Their evil has created density.
I think yesterday was a massive pivotal point. I think a lot of people gave me feedback. I've never seen my phone blow up as much as it did yesterday after the Fanon meltdown, and it was almost on display. Hey, the lies are now finally being confronted by truth uncensored, and the lemmings. It's like the tipping point you just talked about. In order for them to survive, the mainstream media, they now have to report much closer the reality and truth of what is happening in order for them to survive, so that people still consume their content. Because they're losing. They're losing the info because it's all BS. Everybody recognizes it BS. And so we just got to keep pushing hard. Shine the light.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me. I got to roll.
Thanks for being on. All right, take care, brother. Peace. See you soon. Whew. All right. Well, I got a little bit more in me. If you guys have a little bit more in you, I want to play a couple. If you didn't see this, this was the question about pardoning Tina Peters, and I want you to. I had a couple interesting interactions with Senator Kirkmeyer. Now, she said that I'm not a serious candidate. Okay? They said the same thing about President Trump. President Trump cared about the people. I mean, obviously he took his kicks, but he was able to create some great returns for the people. I think I'm that guy. Matter of fact, I know that I've spent the last 5 years fighting and at great cost. But I want you to see this. This is Kirkmeyer versus me in this question around pardoning Tina Peters. And by the way, I like Kirkmeyer. I like Scott Bottoms more, but I like Kirkmeyer. Let's play it.
Thank you for the question. So I've been a state senator now in the minority for the last 5 years. My first 2 years, there were 35 state senators, there were 15 Republicans. My last 3 years, there's been 35 state senators, only 12 Republicans. I've been able to work across the aisle to get major property tax relief done. And it's because I spent my first year in the House of Capital building relationships, and that's what it takes. You go, you work, you build relationships. There is about 80% of the things we do at the Capitol that are not partisan. There are things that we should be working on together, and have been able to do that. I've worked to balance the budget. I've helped cut the budget with folks across the aisle. And I've worked on funding education to meet our constitutional requirements. And I've had the largest property tax cut, carried that legislation not once, but twice to cut property taxes in the state of Colorado. So I've demonstrated that I can work with them. We have things in common. That's what we're going to go build on. And if all else fails and they start passing bills they don't like, this is what a veto ban looks like.
All right, thank you. Mr. Oltmann.
How do you brag about anything that's happened in the state of Colorado by compromising with the people across the aisle? How do you brag about the fact that the property tax that you talk about people getting is pennies? It's basically just small bits of meat off the bone. None of the things that you talk about that have, whether we're talking about the school education issues that we have with transgender and pride flags on the wall, but American flags have been stripped out. None of the compromises that have happened in the state house have done any good for the people in this room or anyone in the state of Colorado.
This is time on Senator Kirkland, 30 seconds.
Obviously, I disagree with everything he just said.
Of course you do. Of course you do. We got a tranny school up in Golden, Colorado that's allowed to basically indoctrinate and groom children. And you're in the state capitol. And I talked to Carlos, who that was his district, yesterday. I talked to him and I was like, listen, this is what you need to do. He looks at me because he's not interested in listening to the people. He's not interested. He's completely disconnected. His eyes rolled back like, oh, yeah, you know. Yeah, I know. Yeah. She's talking about, I did this and I did that and I did this and I did that. And we still suck. And none of you guys get out there and do anything to get angry. And look, righteous indignation is needed in a time where evil is just rolling over you. But you know what? You can compromise. And your record's not so good. Your record in compromise is not so good. So then the question did come up about Tina Peters, and this is how each candidate responded.
As governor, you would have the power to pardon Tina Peters or end her sentence, assuming she is still state president a year from now. Would you pardon her or offer her clemency? Please explain your answer.
Honestly, I hope to be candid. I wouldn't really know at this point. I think as governor, you have to be fair. You have to be consistent. There's a process that you have to work through. I'm not sure that she's actually even applied for it. I mean, I heard Governor Polis talk with you, Jesse, a couple of weeks ago, and it sounded like she hadn't even applied. So, due process. Governor needs to be fair. Needs to be consistent. Take everything into consideration, which would include the individual's health, which would include the individual's age, which would include what's going on, and talking to the Republican district attorney that tried the case, and get the evidence and get the facts. But let me show you everything before I make any decision, and that's what I will do as governor.
The Peters offer clemency.
Oh, I wouldn't pardon her because if she deteriorated Colorado, she has to, try not to stick right. But no, I would see a pathway to get her back home. But more importantly, I think that question begs a different question. If you as a Republican governor pardon somebody because they did something though you thought was right, but actually they committed a crime, what does that say to you and the other people that, hey, look, this governor or this party is willing to look the other way if someone does something that they like? If you ask me to be tough on crime, only when the mood suits me. But I would say under my new reforms of justice system, she would be better convenient with because we have entirely too many moms and too many dads that have done violent crimes that can be out and actually doing something for society. They can go out there and pay their debt to society instead of us paying $700 million for about these people to come in and to sit there and watch them. And a lot of times in our criminal system, they come in, they get mistakes, they go out there and come back out as monsters. So in all, eventually she'll find her way back home.
I would give you the sentence, and here's why. I have watched through my career more people that have committed attempted homicides, assaults, domestic violences get less time than she got for a crime that usually has a sentence that is a ankle bracelet and it's a release on probation parole. Whether you believe she did it or not, it was a conviction. But how many judges would have given that same sentence across Colorado? We've all faced lawfare. I've dealt with it, dealing with the ACLU and going through different judges throughout the Colorado. It's extremely difficult sometimes when political values get involved with criminal cases.
You ready for this answer?
Thank you.
So 100%, I would pardon Tina Peters.
Yep.
Most of the people in this room get their news from Channel 9, which is fake news. Most of the people in this room get their news from these fake news environments that bring up these stories. And the reality of it is that Tina was railroaded. It was political persecution and lawfare that put her in the place that she was at. She was not charged with getting into the machine. She was not charged with violating the machines at all. She was charged with ancillary things like walking to the bathroom while she was actually getting in the machines to check to see if I need a little more time. He's going to want me to answer this. Right? Okay, go ahead. So,
30 more seconds. So,
okay. So the thing that we have to look at, I think that what the news doesn't report on is that even the Court of Appeals, which I'm not a big fan of the judiciary, I think it's rotted at the court. I think we have a school and prison pipeline that we have to deal with. But we have rapists that we let out on probation. We have people that are caught with enough fentanyl to knock out an entire county. And the reality of it is that they get out on probation, they get for 9.5 years. They had over 40. You do actually 30 seconds. Okay. They had over 40 motions that were denied. She did not have an affirmative defense. And if you go just listen to what the appeals court said, they said that the judge made huge errors by saying that he sentenced her based on her First Amendment rights. So if you don't give someone the ability to speak, the public can't hear what actually happened that day, then what's the judiciary we have? It's like, well, I did save them or not. And a circumstance that has nothing to do with just the coup. So yeah, the first day of March.
So I didn't get this finished because they kept wanting to cut me off. Like they give you 90 seconds to answer. Well, how do you answer in 90 seconds what you want to say about Tina Peters? Are you going to pardon Tina Peters? The answer is yes. And the public doesn't know because all they hear is Channel 9's fake news, Kyle Clark, all coming out and saying, oh my gosh, this guy's insurrectionist. Da, 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 da. He's fake news, misinformation, disinformation. He wants everybody that disagrees with him, his political opponents. I don't have political opponents. I got people that betray the American people, betray the people of Colorado that committed treason, and they should be hung for committing treason because that's the penalty for committing treason. But they didn't want me to answer the question. They kept putting this sign up every 30 seconds. So you're trying to answer the question, and they're trying to do everything they can to stop you from answering the question. Anyway, at the end of the day, I said yes. And by the way, don't listen to any of this fake news. And then we had two more questions. President Trump and ICE. And I kept thinking to myself, how are you guys even Republicans? How is it that we have Republicans that are running away from President Trump? How is that a real thing? How do you run away from a guy that is literally trying to single-handedly save the world? The world, not just the country, but the world. Go ahead, play it.
Would you welcome Donald Trump's campaign? Was you an Colorado?
So I welcome the campaign of it?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm running that campaign in Colorado. Yes, there's things that's the norm. We're good. It's running for a campaign in Colorado for Colorado.
All right. Joe Oltmann?
Yes.
Sure. Sorry.
Right, as I was supposed to.
No. All right. Mr. Oltmann.
What?
Mr. Oltmann. Mr. Oltmann, was ICE agent Jonathan Ross justified in shooting Colorado Springs while the Colorado Springs residents that anchored in Minneapolis?
Yes.
Yes. It should get a jerk fire. Is he justified?
I think you have to review all the facts that don't know.
it hasn't gone to court yet, so I can't say yes to that.
Fine, so.
I'm sure it's pending an investigation. I would answer that.
Okay, let me explain something to you. We all saw the video. You have an opinion. So now you're saying, as politicians, all three of them did the same thing. I don't know who's actually coaching these guys. But here's the reality. She almost ran him over. We saw the video. You don't have an opinion? Your opinion is your opinion. But you're trying to turn it into the judiciary. Well, it hasn't ruled yet, so we got to wait. This is it's like a circus. This is why the people of Colorado it doesn't matter what aisle you're on. Come on now. Democrat, Republican, Independent. They're all retarded. And I'm not saying, I like these three guys. But why is it you can't answer a question? The first question was, would you let President Trump come and be on the campaign with you? Yes. It's a simple yes. You go down the line. No, I'm running my own campaign. It's a yes or no question. Yes, yes. And then we're like, no, no. And I'm thinking to myself, you're running away from 79 million people in the country. And by the way, the elections are absolutely fraudulent. You don't even know what the real vote is. But I promise you, Colorado, it's a red state. It's red, which I got to later on. But then they couldn't help themselves. They had to ask me questions. Now, the first question was the budget and bills, and then they went to roads. Because that's the most important thing to people is how do we provide roads? They just take so much from the American people. They take so much from the people of Colorado. They put all these restraints in place, take away their ability to get natural gas, put tollways up everywhere, tax them into oblivion, take property tax, raise their insurance rates by creating regulations, groom their children in school. It is nonstop what the people of Colorado have to put up with. And the biggest problem on their line when they're going through this deal is not how do you make it better for people in Colorado? It's how do you fix a pothole? Like that's the number one thing for a person. It's not. That's indicative of just how rotted the government in Colorado is. But they had to ask me about the politics. And so they asked me about political violence and whether or not I stand by my comments about, and by the way, Channel 9 in the back, they were licking their lips. They thought I was going to do what exactly? Back down from the question? Go ahead and play it.
You said that the governor, attorney general, and secretary of state, who are all Jewish, are part of a, quote, synagogue of state Jews. Do you really have the right government to be governor of the entire state, including people you disagree with rhetoric like that?
Well, let me ask you this. You don't believe that the election was stolen in 2020, despite the mountain of evidence that has been presented over and over and over again. You rely on the media to tell you that there's nothing to see here. It's all misinformation, disinformation. They have pioneers that say that they're for us and betray the very people they say they represent. And then you have this thing called treason. So we have this slow boil and this degradation that everyone can see in the state of Colorado. And you have all these bad things that keep happening to people in Colorado where they become victims. And we are sitting here having a conversation on whether or not someone should be tried for treason, which is what I said. And if found guilty of treason, they should hang. It's not a victimless crime. So how many people in this state, how many people in this country, when 20 million people came across that border, were raped, murdered? And this selective ability to have some sort of virtue signal and saying you do the right thing, while watching all these horrible crimes occur against Americans, I think is disingenuous at that. The elections were stolen in this country in 2020. We now have whistleblowers that have come forward. We have tons of people. We have buckets of information. We will have arrests. And yet we continue to go down this path where you say that it's all a conspiracy theory. I gave up my business selling it for no benefit. I don't need your money. I don't need power. I don't need anything. I don't even like this. I don't want to run for office. The one thing I do is I want the people in this room to actually elect who it is that represents us. And that has not happened. This is not representative government, and we're not.
Thank you. I'll give you 30 more seconds on this. I don't think I heard a quick answer, but these are disagreements that you have with people. You're calling them to be executed. Is that okay to execute people you disagree with?
Wow. So I didn't answer that?
Just say no. Wow.
It has nothing to do with disagreeing with people. Okay. It has to do with the commission of a crime. If you commit treason, the penalty for treason is death. If you don't like it, change the law. But talking about what has happened to our country, which over the 4 years that Joe Biden was illegitimately put in office, a lot of people died. A lot of people faced serious consequences. And unfortunately, you didn't. Because if you did, you would be taking a better look at what's happening in our communities, in our country, and you would probably take a more serious look about the people that you don't care about that have been adversely affected by the fact that we don't have representative government.
How about that? Was that a good answer? So every time I answered, Every time I answered, without exception, they would let people talk over it on the recording. You would have a guy say, just say no. Just say no. Just say no. Did you get all that? But if you listened to any of it before, nobody else had to deal with that. And here's the deal. We have stolen elections. We have fraudulent elections across the entire country. None of the elections are real. And you know what? The process isn't even real. Because when someone comes in and sits down and says, you know what I want? I want Johnny and his family to have a better life. I don't want them to have to be beholden to the government, that if they come into hard times, they got to pay property tax. So on top of all the problems they have, the government could come in and seize their home. Seize it. Take it from them. When grandma hits 75 years old and the tax bill, they're like, oh, we froze it for you at $12,000 a year. Has to pay $1,000 a month just to keep their home. And do you know how many people every year lose their homes because they foreclose on them for tax reasons? It's over 200,000. 200,000 across the U.S. You think it's a small problem until it's your problem. And then it's no longer a small problem. Then you can see it as something that makes no sense as to why the American people are held hostage and are slaves to a system that just tells you a bunch of lies. Do I want political violence? No, but it's coming. It's coming. Here's a guy that I put up there. I don't know if we have it. Do we have it? Do we have the post that I put up on my deal about the leftist that said he wants to shoot people? Yeah, play it.
To any ICE agent that thinks they're going to come into my home and terrorize me and my family, you will be met with lethal force. I will kill on sight, and I will shoot to kill if need be. ICE agents are not allowed in my home. If you come into my home to terrorize my family,
yeah, I got it.
I will see you.
Anybody, I thought I'd never be able to use this in the history. Anybody remember Corky? Anybody remember Corky? Well, this is a retarded Corky. I'll shoot you. Oh, but it gets worse. Here's Kyle from Antifa. Let's play it.
Hello, I'm Kyle, and I am Antifa. We are under occupation, and we are fighting back with every tool we have at our disposal. That has been extremely effective, and we have pushed ICE so hard that they have doubled their size, and they have increased the severity of their tactics in an attempt to scare us into submission. They're brutalizing children. They're kidnapping people from legal employment. They're kicking in front doors without warrants. They are brutalizing people in public and then laughing and joking about it. This is where ICE has come to die. I'm more than willing to keep the peace if they will go back to wherever they fucking crawled out of and leave us alone. We want to know who they are. We will identify every single one of them, and we will prosecute them to the full extent of the law. And if that has to be done at the barrel of a gun, then let us have a little fucking fun.
I don't think he knows what he's asking for. See, up until this point, the police have been the moderators in between that have favored Antifa because of the amount of density that we have inside of the judiciary that just lets them back out on the street. But things have changed. The people have changed. We've already taken too much from us. And now we're just tired. Like, I didn't want to move my court case. By the way, I want to clarify something. Caucus is what you have at the individual level. The assembly is where you get all the people together, right? So The assembly is where you go to get voted, and which is one of the questions too, by the way, is at the assembly. Are you going to petition on, or are you going to go through caucus? And I said to go through the assembly. I'm going to let the assembly decide whether or not I'm a candidate that needs to be in the primary. And so if I don't do a good enough job in the next 3 months, it doesn't matter. They're going to say you didn't get enough votes, which is okay. That's fine. And there are people that are actively out there having conversations with all these people saying, you better not vote for Joe. It's happening right now. People deserve exactly what they vote for, as long as they vote for it. But these radical leftists it's hitting different right now. It's hitting really, really different. Because they now are openly signaling around for violence. And a few days ago, I had an incident. And I thought for a minute I was going to have to do something really drastic. And I'm going through the steps in my mind because, I trained for this. And I didn't. I happened to see what they were doing behind me in the car, and they didn't have plates on the car. And I saw the barrel of a gun on one side, the barrel of a gun on the other side, and I went through a red light, and they didn't because there was a cop right on the side. And I thought to myself, am I being paranoid? There's no plates on this car. It's obvious they had weapons in the car. It's obvious that they had masks or some sort of thing to block. You couldn't see into the car. And this is just me in the rearview mirror seeing this happen. And I'm like, and I got in the right-hand lane, left-hand lane. I really wasn't paying attention to anything other than the fact they got real close to me at first. And then I had to say to myself, am I paranoid? Am I paranoid? But when I went through that light, as it turned yellow and there was a cop there, I was like, let's see this. And I didn't see a plate on the front. So I assumed there was no plate on the back. And if he would have gone through the light with no plate on the front and no plate on the back, cops would have pulled him over. But these radical leftists, they don't have any problem committing violence because they own the apparatus. You look at Matt Doloff and Lee Keltner, who was murdered by Matt Doloff in the city and county of Denver, said I'm not going to charge him with murder. I sent an entire packet over to the DOJ, and I was like, you can federally charge him with murder. He murdered this guy outside of a deal. And he's Antifa. Make him an example. He's not a have-not. He just got let go by his own tribe. But there's no accountability in this. But these leftists are just, man, they create these Brutuses that can do harm to you, but they look like they're not. It's like being a suicide bomber. The left is building suicide bombers inside of our community, and we're not doing anything about it. What I've said is absolutely true. We have got to get to a place where we rip the Band-Aid off and be done, or let them have it, and let us make a decision on whether or not we stay here or not, or whether or not we fight, because we don't need them. We don't need them. The people of Colorado and the people around the country should, without violence, be able to get to a place where they recognize they don't want this foolishness anymore. They don't want to even talk about elections. Just get back to paper ballots in person, make it so you have an ID. Okay. Make it a federal holiday so we can all take off work and we'll all get it done and we'll make it a big party, like a Super Bowl. Do that. But here's leftists that are... They're creating observers that are interfering with ICE. Let's go ahead and play this.
Response networks being created in Minneapolis right now are unmatched. For all other cities who have not yet been invaded by ICE like our city, 3,000 or more ICE agents abducting people on every block, y'all need to take notes. Rapid response, hyper local. The chats that we have are of our street, then of our neighborhood, and the other neighborhood chats connect. If an ICE agent pulls up in my neighborhood, within 2 minutes, there are legal observers, people on bikes, people in cars ready to follow the ICE agent back out of the neighborhood and let the next neighborhood know that that ICE agent is on the move. Y'all, this is crazy. This is the future of the downfall of the empire. You need to get to know your neighbors and your city, and you need to be familiar with the people that will protect you in the same ways that you will protect them, y'all. This is insane.
No, it's not insane. What's insane is that you're protecting pedophiles and rapists and putting them in schools to teach and piddle your children. That's a real thing that's happening. What's insane is that you had to hide your face, because if you weren't ashamed of who you are, you would I put my face out here. 50% of the time, I can't go to a restaurant, can't go to a airport, I can't go anywhere without somebody walking up and saying hi to me. 50%. In Colorado. Actually, I was in San Antonio, same thing happened to me. I walked up, I was like, "What's up, Joe?" I was like, "Hey, what's up? Are you a good guy or bad guy?" I always just ask the same question. By the way, so if you walk up to me and you're watching the podcast and you're like, "What's up, Joe?" I'm going to ask you the question, are you a good guy or a bad guy? And you need to say good guy if you're a good guy. And if you're a bad guy, you probably don't want to get any closer, because I'm not going to let you get any closer, right? So here's, they look for the weakest link. You know the pecking order, you know the thing where chickens peck at the other chickens? I want to play this. This is leftists harassing women they view as weak. This is their way of bullying people. These are fascists, and these are evil people that do this to anyone that doesn't agree with them. Go ahead, play it.
You out, so don't worry.
My husband died in 9/11.
Good for him. Good. Good. Those NYPD were a bunch of fucking sodomizing immigrants with their bully sticks. So yeah, your husband probably fucking should rot in the grave. You call my mom out? Where you go there? Why you running now? What? You don't like it? Come on. Yeah, that's right. Go home, bitch. What?
What you just saw is happening more and more. So this guy decided he was going to go after a widow who died in 9/11. And he ran his mouth until the woman's son showed up. And then the woman's son said, what do you got to say? And he ran like a little girl. What Ivan said is true. Every time that I've gotten in a disagreement with a Democrat, I usually make a friend out of him. Why? Because I just ask them questions. And then they say, well, you called for this or you called for that. I mean, the posts online about these people not wanting me to go to these different events. First of all, I need you to understand something. I'm not going to lead with turn the other cheek. I'm not going to lead with submit. I'm going to lead with strength and courage, and telling our kids and our neighbors that you should not allow people to victimize you. We should never support a pedophile. We should never support gang members that rape and murder people in our community. We should wait and let things work out. But it doesn't happen because we got people on the outside of this country, like George Soros and others, that are actively in a place of sedition against the United States government. But it's not the United States government, because it's already compromised. It's the American people. See, we are different than this group. And here's a TPUSA event where young mothers were brought their children to. They turned out and harassed those young mothers. Play it.
Fuck that child. Fuck both of your kids. You should drop it. 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 Drop it.
They want me to drop him.
Guys, look at the difference they're making. He's carrying my fucking lame ass baby. That shit's gonna be gone, bitch. Trust me.
That's the left. That's what the left represents. I don't think that people understand where we are. I love everybody. I want to share with you a couple texts that I got. And I want to tell you why I'm sharing it with you. I think I have permission to. So So I've spent I spent a long time being friends with people that maybe you wouldn't want to be friends with. Right? I had Adam on here who went to prison. Got some good comments here. Be clear, I'm not a Zionist, but I have no trust for skinheads. Well, Eric Coomer's a skinhead, so I hope not. Bullies always attack women, then run away when alphas start showing up. They do. That's absolutely true. Where was I going with this? Help. Oh, text. Yeah, sorry. So, I'm just built different. I'm built different because I know how to solve problems, and I'm comfortable around everybody. I mean, I sat at a bar thing at an event, and I was sitting there, and this tranny showed up and sit down in the corner, and I was like, and he said hi, and I was like, hey, what's up? And her name's like Sparkle or something. It was silly, and he just started talking to me, and I was like, why are you here? Like, everybody here knows me, and I was like, okay. And it's just 2021 or 2022. So we sat and talked for a little bit until he figured out who I was. And then he went to like get up and walk away. And I was like, well, where are you going? Well, you're that right-wing extremist. I was like, I thought we were having a good conversation. So I don't get to the place where I can't have a conversation with them. Now, if you try to intimidate people around me, I probably will want to hurt you because I don't like people becoming victims. The reason why I say that is because there's been many people in my life that have reached out to me that have been a part of that journey of mentoring and helping and really just trying to bring Jesus into their life. And I've done this a lot, whether it be in business or whether it be, volunteering for different programs. I find people that I think are a light, and I want them to be better. So you guys have seen Jamal on here. Maybe you have. So Jamal sends me a text. He starts this morning. Let me see what he says. Hey, is there anything I can do to help with you with your 26 campaign? I said, yes. What's up, brother? A couple hours later, he gets done. He goes, man, I'm at the house. I know I was supposed to come to the office, but I've been sick with the flu, but I definitely would like to help out some way with your 2026 running for governor. So I had to ask him. I said, will you do a testimonial for me? He says, absolutely. What do I need to do? Come to the office and let me interview. I'm actually answering him now. And then another friend of mine that has hurt with me, who I'm not going to say what his name is, 'cause I don't have his permission to do it, but we don't agree a lot. Matter of fact, we got really sideways over the ICE deal. And I was like, bro, they're kicking out gang members. Just no, they're not. And it was really tense there for a minute. And he is really smart. Can't catch a ball, really tall. Played football with him. And he came from a rough place, but his mama is amazing. Came from Atlanta, Georgia. She'd come up. I call her mama just because she's an amazing woman. She's his mom. And he's a young man that has 3 kids. He has 3 young kids. And he's married, has a beautiful wife. And we've gotten into arguments about people. Well, he read the TPUSA stuff that was on there, and he told me a long time ago, because I was giving money to this organization. He's like, Joe, those people are not your people. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about anybody. And I said, no. Charlie was a good guy, and he couldn't accept the fact that Charlie was a good guy because of all the bad things they said. And now you have this vacuum that's been created, and TPUSA is, and more often than not, it's becoming this place where radical leftists just creep in because there wasn't this guy Charlie to have this spirit. Like, he could walk into a room and he just knew he could just do this, and he knew who was good, who was bad, and he methodically grew the Turning Point chapters. He said, told you, man, that program was ass. Those people have a select look that they represent. You fought for them and they turned on you. Not everyone is worth your aura. Not everyone means good. And I said, which program? TPUSA? I agree, brother. And he says, yep, I never steer you wrong. I said, I know, brother. Thank you for that. I'm gonna close this out with prayer and everything else, or prayer, not in or everything else, but something else that I want to leave you with that I hope is interesting, and that is not everything that they tell us is good. Not every influencer is good. What Ivan said, that he can't actually trust anyone. I look at President Trump and I look at the people around him, and I'm disappointed by the last year. Not one has been arrested. And the one that was, Comey, yeah, they let him go on a technicality. Oh, and then they had this other technicality where the pipe bomber got off, but the real pipe bomber, then they created a lawfare and they said, oh, this person that works for the CIA is now a victim. And so we're going to go do this lawfare deal out here and try to cover up for the crime that the FBI manufactured against a black kid that had autism out of Virginia. It's all rotted. It's all rotted. It's rotted at the state level. It's rotted at the federal level. It's just rotted to the core. TPUSA just had I gave him a bunch of money, Gator-bait, and then I basically was not invited to a debate as the other three that I had before. And whether it's Victor Marx's campaign, or this mean girl group of people that walks around threatening people if they're going to invite me to, on our side, by the way, supposedly, that if they invite me to the debate, then bad things will happen, decided to slander me, just like the left. They wrap it up. It's not the left, by the way. These are people that have captured parts of the GOP in every part of our state. So that's my problem. So I asked for all my money back, which I'm still in the process of getting my money back. I don't even know where I was going with this. Where was I going with this? Let's just pray it out. I just don't think that things are what they seem they are. I think that the good people out there that are good are consistent. They stay consistent and they represent people, and they do so unselfishly. It doesn't have to do with money. It just has to do with doing the right thing. The bald guy is a problem. What bald guy? What bald guy? Me? I'm not fully bald. What bald guy? Charlie, you talking about Ivan Raikkonen? No, he's not a problem. He just doesn't trust anything. He's jaded, and a lot of us are. I bet you could ask a lot of people in the comments what they think, and they will all tell you the same thing, that they just feel like it's just no bueno, like nothing is happening fast enough. Anyway, I think President Trump is going to get to do something really drastic over the next couple days, and I think people will be arrested. I think they're going to have to use the Insurrection Act. I think there are things coming, which is why silver and gold is through the roof. Not Evan. Ivan, love him. TPUSA. Oh, that guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Jeff says, TPUSA, what is absolute cluster? They've abandoned what Charlie believed, really messy. Yeah, because he's a real leader. He's a real leader. And real leaders, by the way, they just don't tell you what you want to think or what you want to hear. They tell you what you don't want to hear, because you need to get better. Did you send me an email? I will check that email on the water. Yeah, and yes, there are some things happening with this water. And maybe I should tell you guys that there was stuff that was found in the water. Pretty crazy stuff. And I have a couple of new bottles that came in from different days that people said that there was stuff and then it rained. So yeah, we're doing some stuff on the water. I will get back to you. I'll get back in my email on that. All right, let's pray, shall we? Shall we pray? Shall we pray that God just comes in and just like, this is a quick swipe, just whoop, says they all got to go. It's going to take President Trump doing something, but I think that it's definitely possible. So, Father God, thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you for Ivan Raikkonen, for the time that he spends serving and showing up. Thank you for the people that are listening, for their fighting spirit, the courage that they have. And thank you, Father, for our leadership in this country. But I am worried about the leaders that aren't leaders, the ones that hide and behind a mask. I would call them Brutuses or Judases, ones that would sell out the people and constantly do sell out the people for their own gain. Father, I just ask you get rid of those people. You just throw them out. And that true leadership may rise through those ranks. And we may get to a place where we restore our country, restore you to our country and to this world. I believe that there are things that are being done, Father, that I can't see. And but we just want things done faster, frankly, but I know everything happens in your time. Please bless those that are sick, Father. Heal them. And help us that we may never become the very thing that we're fighting against, and may try to operate with some ability or that we can operate with patience and do things in your times. We ask these things, Father, humbly in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, I'll see you guys later. God bless you. Susan Rice, always good to see you, the good Susan. And yeah, we'll be here tomorrow. So, no, we'll be here Monday. We'll be here Monday. We got lots to go over on Monday. Yeah. All right, take care.
Rising from the fight for the forgotten and the free, exposing rigged machines, Kuma's lies, Dominion's deceit, pays a grand each day, shielding truth from corrupt hall, but he won't back down, standing tall through it all. Argentina Peters break the chains that bind her tight, hand count votes and one day bring the fraud to light. No more mailing scams, no machines to steal the night, restore the people's voice, make Colorado right. Governor Oltmann, lead us bold and true, badass for the have-nots, fighting through and through. Abolish property tax, cut the tolls away, shrink the bloated state, let the people have their say. It's our rally call, truth and freedom rise and watch the tyrants fall. Untamed Colorado, strong and proud, we'll be one man for the people, set our great state free. Help the single moms, bring back trade school strong, opportunity for youth, where the brave belong. Audit every NGO, ban the wolves that roam, reclaim our stolen land, bring the power home. Eric Kuma's fraud, Dominion's rigged design, expose the stolen votes, cross a dangerous line. No more victimhood, no chains on you and me. He's running for governor for real liberty. Smash the fraud machine, pardon heroes jailed for the have-nots. Rising truth will never fail. One warrior defies the corrupt elite. Colorado reborn, strong on our feet. Governor Oltmann, lead us bold and true. Badass for the have-nots, fighting through and through. Abolish property tax, cut the tolls away, shrink the bloated state, let the people have the say. Governor Oltmann, it's our rally call, truth and freedom rise and watch the tyrants fall. Untamed Colorado, strong and proud, we'll be one man for the people, set our great state free. Governor Oltmann, lead us bold and true. Governor Oltmann, freedom forever, Colorado rise. Rise up untamed, in the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam. Joe home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the nights. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah.